Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. Got us a 1999 Dodge 2500 non-Hemi with the big Cummins in it. Came in, customer complaint of marker lights not working, amongst other things. He did say no marker lights, power seat doesn't work, dome light doesn't work, the indicators don't work. I assume he means turn signal indicators. Power mirrors quit working, radio quit working, the backlighting on the cluster quit working, and he also made a note that his intermittent wipers quit working. However, they do work on high and low. I have not looked at it yet. I did pull it in, turned on the marker lights, and seen that there is indeed no backlighting on the dash. Moved the little rheostat up and down, nothing there. Didn't see any lights out here. I did observe though on the way in that there is a lot of what I call extra wiring inside, a lot of fuse taps, and it's got a plow rigged up on it, and some extra wiring under the hood. Don't know what we're going to find. Let's verify a couple of these things real quick, see if that's the full list or at least some of it, and then we'll get started. Let's see. So we have, I also don't hear the chime. I do see the headlights turn on out there. Leave the marker lights on, just make sure. I know there was nothing in the front, nothing in the rear, no plate lights. No, nothing. All right. And then as far as the dome light, we'll flick that on all the way up. Let's see if we have a cargo light. We have no cargo light. We have no dome lights. Even manually, nothing there. So we can cruise that back down. No power seats. There's our extra wiring. This little guy. Like a little video game. So let's see if we have turn signal indicators. Oh, okay, so we do have an indicator there. So I'm not sure what he means by indicator. No radio. Let's see if the old cigar lighter works. Ow, burnt my lip. Oh no, just kidding. It doesn't work. But that doesn't mean anything. Okay, but I got a bad resistor. Alright, and then the wipers. There's high, there's low, and there's intermittent. They're just very intermittent. One thing I will observe though, is I notice that the fog light is on, even when it's off. When you turn the fog lights on, the fog lights actually turn on. I don't know if you guys can see them reflecting out there. But when you turn them on, the fog light goes out. So that's interesting. Okay. I say we start with the marker lights. So I'll look us up some wire diagrams for that so we got something to go on. We know what fuses are associated with it, stuff like that. Doubt we're going to find a ground in this case, which is typically our MO on Chrysler videos, simply because they're all out, and I believe that they would have all, different grounds. Maybe the fronts would be on one, the rears would be on another, but the fact that the cluster's out and all that stuff, probably a power feed issue. It is not my habit to just go through and just start going through every single fuse on the vehicle, because we don't know which one controls it, and for all we know it could be missing. Particularly when you have extra wiring on the vehicle. You want to fiddle with that stuff as little as possible, because you don't want the guy to get it back and all of a sudden, ever since my plow doesn't work, that kind of stuff. So let me get a diagram, we'll go from there. So I got us a road map. I got the backup light circuit if we need it, which I don't think we will right offhand. We did not check the reverse lights. However, this is the exterior lighting diagram, and I've noticed in my videos you can't really see them that well. But this is where it all begins, is at this fuse. Let me get a pointing apparatus. We use this busted zip tie. So here's where we begin, is at that fuse, and it goes into the headlight switch. When we turn it to the park position, the power comes out of the headlight switch, and then is distributed to, left park side, right park side, and this black and yellow wire here comes to a junction, goes to another junction block, and it splits off and goes to all the various lights. Including, that must be a dual rear wheel option. Here we go, left plate light, right plate light, rear lights, all of that business. So it appears that there is no relay on the system, that the switch is able to carry the current of all the lights. So that potentially is a problem, the switch itself. However, what we want to do is we want to start right at the beginning. We want it hot at all times. Fuse number 1, 15 amp, says it's in the junction block. We'll find out where the junction block is and then take it from there. Man, I just got completely bombarded for like the last half hour with customers. But we left off, of course you guys don't know the difference, we left off looking for fuse number 1, and that happens to be it right here. Fuse number 1 is 15 amp. Stick the old power probe in here. That's ground, and that's ground. That was supposed to be hot at all times, so I'm curious. Well, we have the power probe here. I'm going to turn off the buzzer. Let me go answer the phone. All right, just a YouTuber. Let's see. I'm going to supply power to it, so we're going to push up on this. We're going to put 12 volts on the tip. I just want to see what happens. Hey, look at that. The dash lights are on, the dinger's on, the dome lights are on. Now everything's back out. So, very quickly, let's see, let me just see if the marker lights turned on the outside. I'm sure they probably did. I can't see. Let me look up against the back wall here and see if I see them reflecting there. Oops. I can't see back there, but I can't tell. Either case, we know. Here, let me set you guys up so you can see what's happening. I'm going to take and supply that with power again. There's power. We can see all the dash lights light up. Hopefully, I can't see what you're seeing. There we go. Alright, so you can see they light up, they dim. I turn the headlights off, they quit dinging, turn them on. And Robert's your dad's brother. Okay, so we quickly identified that. So what we need to do now is get a different wiring diagram, because we clearly identified that this fuse has no power. However, this diagram is not long enough. It doesn't tell us where that power source is. So I'm going to get a power distribution diagram. We got to see what feeds fuse number 1. So I have our power distribution diagram. Let me get my pointing apparatus again. Here is fuse number 1, and that comes out and feeds headlamp fuse. Now where does it get its power from? Well, it says back from fuse 1 in the power distribution center diagram, 1 of 3. Before we go to that, what can we make any observations here? If this power feed for this was dead, indeed fuse number 1 would be dead, number 4 would be dead, 12, 13, 14. So let's look at that real quick. What are they? Okay, radio, which we know is dead. Under hood light, overhead console, left visor vanity light, which I believe they don't work. Let's see, fuse number 13 runs. Integrated electronic module, left door window lock switch, right door window lock switch, power seats, instrument cluster. Okay, so this is all making sense now. It appears that everything that runs off this fuse, let's go to diagram number 1, and that had a what? That had a B by it. So we come up here, that said fuse number 1. So here's this fuse number 1, 50 amp, and that has the B on it. See how you got the little B on the triangle? Well, that comes over to this little B on this triangle on fuse on diagram number 2. So now we need to go right back to the source, which it gets it right from the battery. Battery feeds the entire power distribution center, which if that battery feed to it was bad, we'd have a whole lot of stuff that didn't work, including the blower motor, auto shutdown relay, brake lights, a whole bunch of stuff. So I doubt we're going to find the feed, but perhaps we're going to find something going on there. So let's find fuse number 1 in this little guy over here. Let's see. Like I said, you just gotta be careful with the extra wiring. Okay. Fuse number 1. These are not numbered, however. This says here 50 amp battery, which is that one there. That's hilarious. Let me turn on the marker lights real quick. Okay, the marker lights are still on. Let me just power this up. I don't see the marker lights kicking on. Let me open the door, see if we hear the dinger go off. Okay, the door is open. Okay, so we're missing a fuse. Let me see if I have one of these J-case fuses in a 50 amp. That's super bizarre. Just the general fact that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, don't check the fuses because one could be missing. Alright, well that's the first piece of the puzzle anyways. Got us a brand new 50 amper. Alright, however, I do not see, oh okay, yeah, we do got marker lights. Let's see. We have a marker light. This one could just be a blown bulb. Let's see what we got in the back here. Hey, look at that. Hallelujah. 2 plate lights. That marker light. That's ridiculous. Turn that off. And look at that. Our fog light thing is out now. And works like it should. Alright. Does this have vanity lights? Oops. Ooh, I don't know what the heck all that stuff is. Hey, it does. Look at that. Here's me looking at you, looking at you. Say hi, everybody. Let's see. So that should bring life back to the radio, which it does. How do you turn these things on? Oh, there we go. All right. And of course, we've got our dimmer. Dimmer works down, high, low. There's me looking at you again. So it appears that it's essentially, I think this is going to be the shortest video I ever made. Like I said, I don't think this had anything to do with this intermittent wipers, but let's just see. So it's high, low. This is intermittent. Ah, what do you know? Must be the intermittent wipers fed off that circuit also, because they work now. Alright, fixed. So me and Keith always joke about Ivan, because it seems to be whenever Ivan gets a misfire and it's always a bad spark plug, and it's kind of like a running joke we all have. And for whatever reason, my running joke so far seems to be the missing fuse. We did that video on that Crown Vic. I just see this is a fuse puller. I see it laying down here. We did that Crown Vic, that was a missing fuse. I think we did a Buick, that had a missing fuse. And of course now I got this video with the random missing fuse, and I don't know why. Evidently this has been a problem on this truck for months. So why is the fuse gone? I have no idea. And clearly nothing is shorted, because, you know, we jumpered power with the power probe, which only has a 10 amp breaker on it, or something like that, 10 or 15. Well, somebody was meddling in stuff they ought not be meddling in. I feel like I owe you guys some extra. But it is what it is. We fixed all those problems. I guess we gotta check, make sure the power mirrors work. Oh, yeehaw! Even them babies work. So, power mirrors, let me check his list here. We got parking lights on the exception of the blown bulb. I didn't check the seat. We got parking lights, we got a seat, we got a dome light. Not sure what he meant by indicators. Maybe the indicator lights, I don't know. Power mirrors work, radio works now, cluster lights work, and the intermittent wipers. We've addressed all the customer's concerns by using extremely simple logic and having some wire diagrams so you know where to go. And this is another prime example, whereas checking fuses would have got you nowheres, because checking the fuse on the inside, well, the fuse is good, it wasn't blown, you know, I can give it that. And the fuse in the underhood fuse box is just missing, which is not too uncommon to see missing fuses in fuse boxes. And that's always been kind of my argument with the need to always just go check all the fuses. But we'll leave it at that. However, I will answer the age-old question as to where do I get all my diagrams? Probably the #1 email I get. I get my wiring diagrams from a pay service. It costs about $185 a month for one of them, and that's Mitchell Pro Demand. That's who I choose to use. It's the same as Snap-on Shopkey, same company. I also use Identifix for aftermarket motor diagrams and OEM diagrams. That is also a pay service. I think I pay $155 a month for that. I believe Mitchell and AllData have DIY versions of their, you know, professional programs, I guess, if you will, that they extend to the DIY community. I think it's bought like per vehicle. Perhaps that is something you can look into. It's something I've never purchased, but I do know that there is an all-data DIY and a Mitchell DIY. I don't know if Identifix has a DIY version, but you guys can check on that. So hopefully that helps answer that questions. I also subscribe to OEM services. If I need 100% OEM information, I'll post a link to the NASTIF website down below where you can go, and anybody can get that. You can buy it per day in most cases, excuse me, per day or 3 days, or by the month, by the year, and then you can have same access as the dealers do. But they are all pay services. There are free wiring diagrams out there through BBB Industries. I will try to put that link down below also. They don't have every wire diagram, but it is a pretty decent free source. You see Ivan over at Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics, he uses that quite often. He likes that because the diagrams they do have are OEM, which is better in most cases as opposed to these diagrams put out by Mitchell, which are rewritten color diagrams, and they are usually wrong. There's usually error because anytime you add the human aspect into copying OEM to aftermarket, there's always going to be error. And that is one thing I would say. If you have Mitchell, this is the diagrams they have. Never ever trust them. If something doesn't look right, it's probably not. So I'll leave it at that. In the meantime, go down there, click subscribe, ring the bell, leave your questions, comments, and criticisms in the comment box below. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.